Hi, so this video is going to be a little bit different. It is basically podcast audio, so if you want to listen to it while doing something else, I get it. Don't worry, we all do it. It's fine. I am recording this without a script and I only have a couple of notes in my phone. So if I ramble a little bit, if I get out of track, that's the reason why. And with all that being said, let's get started. Hi, my name is Rosa and welcome to another Speed Paint. When I started recording this speed paint, I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I tried to do a speed paint about the Phantom of the Opera because this is a Phantom of the Opera fan art, but I didn't like how that turned out. I recorded it and I wasn't happy with it. And it wasn't until I completed the drawing that I realized what I wanted to talk about. And that's how the pandemic has actually helped me improve and change my art. I have such a strange relationship with art. For the longest time, I thought that art was only going to be like my side hustle or something that I was just doing for fun. And this speed paint is already long enough, so I don't want to introduce another topic to it. But basically, I was bullied out of art. There were people around me who hurt me and wanted to make me feel miserable, and they mocked me for doing art, and I listened to them. And I don't blame myself for that. I was a child and I was really vulnerable, and those people took advantage of that. And I kept that mindset with me for a while. It wasn't until around 2017 or so, when I was already in college, when I began seeing art as more than a hobby and maybe something that I wanted to do professionally or something that I wanted to pursue. But that did slow down my progress for so long, and all of my friends who started doing art around the same time that I did had become remarkable artists, and all of their stuff is amazing. And here I was, like, what is it, 7 or 8 years behind. And that also led me to not be confident of my own art. And that's why I have this strange relationship with art, because I have a hard time believing in myself doing art professionally or doing it as something more than just a hobby. But for a while, my relationship with art was that it was something that I was just going to do for fun and not something that I was going to do as a job. I gave myself the idea that art was just going to be something that I was going to do for fun, and maybe I would draw once or twice a week and post it on Instagram and you know, just have fun with it. And then I realized that a lot of choices in my life didn't allow me to do art, or my career path didn't allow me to concentrate on art, which, don't get me wrong, I actually like my degree. Communications, it's a pretty fun degree, and I've learned so much from it. And also, it allows me to be, to a certain degree, visually creative, but just it doesn't allow me to create illustrations and drawings every now and then, I guess. And again, I love my degree. The problem was that I found something that I loved even more. And communications requires you to do a lot of work, that is, video editing, creating content creation, and a lot of stuff that didn't give me time to draw. Or when I completed my schoolwork, I was too exhausted to sit on the computer and just draw. And honestly, that caused me a lot of depression, because there were so many stories, so many things, so many fan art that I wanted to tell, but I couldn't because I was busy video editing or recording or whatever. I look at my life and all I could think of was, you know what, Rosa? We love art. We love this. But there's no way we can do this professionally. So this is gonna be your forever hobby. And that's fine. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be a great artist to enjoy art. Which, don't get me wrong, I still stand by that. But then the pandemic happened, and suddenly things changed. For one, my dad is a magician, and he works at birthday parties, he works in events and a bunch of stuff. But with the pandemic, none of that was possible for us anymore, because there were no parties. We weren't allowed to go to parties or to events, and with good reason. But then I had a bunch of bills to pay. I had to pay my phone bills. I had to pay some things from a trip that I just went to Las Vegas. I had to pay the credit card that I used in Las Vegas. And I was freaking out because I had no money. And I tried to find ways to make money or earn something. But I couldn't because the whole world was a mess. The world, it is still a mess, but I, I, I didn't know what to do and I was freaking out. And my last resource was selling commissions. I was terrified of putting commissions out there because I thought my art was terrible. I thought I'm only a hobbyist, nobody's gonna buy my art. But I was also terrified of not paying my bills and what would happen if I didn't. So, even though I was afraid, I put on a post on social media saying, hey, I'm selling emergency commissions, which were essentially $5 icons. And I know $5 is such a low price for commissions, but I was desperate and I needed money, and I thought if I put them in a small price, people will probably buy them. And I set out 10 slots, and 2 days later, the 10 slots were taken. And believe it or not, that gave me a huge confidence boost with my art. Because even though people probably took them because of the cheap price, people liked my art enough to pay for it. And then I started looking at my art in a whole different way. The way my brain thought about it was, I don't like my art, but people do. People enjoy my art. So maybe my art is not as bad as I think. And I start looking at my drawings and everything that I've been doing. And I look at them as if I was seeing them for the first time. They weren't ugly. They were good. They weren't perfect. I mean, there's room for a lot of improvement, but they were good. Suddenly, I liked my own art, and I cannot believe it took a freaking pandemic for me to realize that my art is good enough, that I am good enough. But yeah, I start working on the commissions and I enjoy working on them. It's not art that is gonna go on my social media, but it's art someone is gonna enjoy because I'm doing it especially for them. I'm loving having this time to practice and also make a profit out of it. I don't know if I want to do commissions my entire life. I don't think so. But okay, the whole reason why this is an illustration, it's because I want to get into the publishing industry and some art industries that I'm interested in. So I have to make a portfolio, and this is one of the pieces of my portfolio. I know they tell you not to make a lot of fan art because people don't like that, but for some reason, literally, yeah, literally, literary pieces get a pass on that. So yeah, The Phantom of the Opera is a book, so I can argue it's a fan art from a book. But yeah, time passes and I realize that the pandemic is gonna last probably more than a year. So I have to keep doing commissions and I have to keep selling my art in order to make a profit, in order to pay the bills, in order to make a living. But also, I have a lot of spare time now. I have a lot of time to myself to start practicing, to start drawing. And even though I still have my school and my responsibilities, I don't have a job. My job is drawing now. But also, I cannot go out. I cannot distract myself. I cannot bring in people to my house, or I cannot gather with my friends or anything. So it's just me, my computer, and books. And now all I'm doing is reading and drawing all the time. And that made my art improve so much and so fast in less than a year. When people tell you that drawing every day helps you improve, I actually believe that's good advice. Of course, there are more things to it, it's just not drawing random things every day, but it does help you. I started spending more time doing art, and my brain thought, you know what, we have to invest back in our art. So let's pay for some art classes. Actually, the only reason why this illustration has a background, it's because I'm taking 2 classes in environmental design and learning how to paint backgrounds and how to do perspective and all of that stuff. That's the only reason why. Because I began practicing and being more conscious about what I needed to improve in my art and how could I improve it. And I look at this drawing and I see how I'm shading stuff, I see how I'm coloring stuff, and how I am understanding what's going on. And if you would have told me in 2019 that right now I would be painting a full illustration with details, with perspective and everything, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have thought you were crazy. And don't get me wrong, I look at 2020 and yeah, it sucked. It sucked a lot. But then again, without it, I don't know where my art would be. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot to improve in this background. I kept it simple because these are my baby steps. But yeah, I do hate the whole 2020. I hate that people are dying. I hate that we're locked, and I hate that there are people who still don't understand how serious this pandemic is. I hate it. But at the same time, I have these complicated emotions with myself because if it wasn't for the pandemic, my art wouldn't be good. I still think this year and this whole deal sucked, right? Because it was majorly bad. But I'm thankful for what it allowed me to achieve. And I know that's a privilege because not everyone can get the chance to grow during the pandemic. And that's fine. You don't need to feel that you need to, become the next Shakespeare or anything like that during this time. You do you and just try to survive. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Taking a break from all the heavy topics, this drawing has a lot of ruffles. Like, I'm looking at them and there's a lot of them. And I didn't came up with them by myself because ruffles are hard. So I'm gonna link in the description all of the brushes that I use for the ruffles. Essentially what I did was that I used them in my sketch layers and then in my line art I drew them, if that makes sense. It was for me to get the general idea and the shape of them. But yeah, ruffles are hard. But yeah, suddenly I refound my passion for art. I realized how much I love it and how I want to do this with my life. And then I think, okay, I need to get more clients. I need to find a way of being able to make a living out of this. So that implied working on my social media. And I didn't have a plan at the time. I was just thinking, okay, this is April, by the way, and I'm thinking, okay, mermaid is coming. I'm just gonna do mermaid drawings because people like that, and it's a popular tag during the month of May. And yeah, I start doing it, and I start doing more drawings, and suddenly I went from 200 followers to 500 in the span of 2 months, and then by December I have 700 followers. And I know that it's not a lot. I know that's a small amount of followers for a lot of people, but I was stuck in 200 followers since 2018. So for me, being able to grow that much in less than a year, it completely changed the way I view myself and the way I view my art. Eventually, I start trying to do more complicated drawings and things that would challenge me more just to get out of my comfort zone. And yeah, I still have a lot to improve, especially in my environments. But I did a Rapunzel illustration and I posted it, and a lot of people liked that one. And I suddenly felt like the confidence to put full illustrations in my commissions. So I send those out, and I eventually do get a full illustration commission. And I start panicking because I get imposter syndrome, right? My brain is like, you are not good enough for this. Why are you doing this? Who told you this was a good idea? And I was freaking out the entire time. But then, let's go back to the classes that I'm taking online. Let's go check everything out. Let's see what I can do. Let's see what I know what to do, what I need to reference. If I need to look up tutorials on how to paint certain things, I'll just look them up. And I did that full illustration and I loved it. And I cannot show it, unfortunately, because the client didn't allow me to show it, but that's fine. I respect them. But yeah, I love it and I loved how it turned out. And I did show it to some of my close friends, and everyone was so shocked that I drew that they wouldn't believe I did that drawing. And I felt proud of myself. And I look at this phantom illustration and I love it so much. I'm looking at it right now and I'm so happy with how everything turned out. I love how it looks. And don't get me wrong, there's room for improvement. There's room for a lot of improvement. But I never thought that an idea that I had would look as closely as possible as I had it in my head. I never thought I would be painting, skies. I never thought I would be painting parts of a building. And suddenly I am, and oh my god, like look at the highlights. Look at them. They are so pretty, and highlighting is my favorite part of drawing, and I'm so happy of how it turned out here. But yeah, suddenly because I had all this new time to draw, I start studying and practicing more, and suddenly I'm doing things that I actually feel proud of and things that I actually enjoy doing. And I can't believe, I cannot believe this is me right now. I cannot believe with all that is happening in the world, I am happy about something in my life. Because when the world was fine, I wasn't happy about my art. And don't get me wrong, the pandemic has affected me so much. For once, I'm out of a job. My family is out of a job, and in the other side of things, it really affected my self-esteem. Uh, I don't like how I look, and okay, look, this is not my first time trying to do a YouTube channel this year. This is not my first time trying to do a YouTube channel, period. But the problem was that, okay, I'm someone who makes a lot of New Year's resolutions and tries to achieve them. So I decided to make a YouTube channel to track that. And I recorded an initial blog and I look at it and I hated that blog. Not because it's bad, but because I don't like looking at myself, because I have terrible self-esteem. I don't like how I look. I don't like myself. And I know I'll probably look fine, but I don't like it. And I didn't know what I wanted to do because I still wanted to create content, right? I still wanted to do something with my art. Who would have thought that the solution for that was, doing speed paints? But then I realized that I'm more drawn to speed paints that have narration and have voiceover. So I wanted to add commentary to mine. And that came with another issue. You see, I've mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm Mexican. And I think you notice at this point we're 17 minutes into the video. I think around 17 minutes. I hate my accent. I have a little bit of an accent and I hate it. And I have such like a confidence issue with that. And even though a lot of my friends who speak English, who are native English speakers, have told me, Rosa, your accent is fine. Your English is amazing. Your English is really good. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, yeah, but I hate my voice. And they're like, it's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. And yeah, sometimes I do cringe at my own voice. I think we all do it. But I had to remind myself, it's okay if I have a little bit of an accent, right? I already speak two languages. I'm learning my third one. So it's fine if I have a little bit of an accent. And then I go and record, my previous video, which is my first video. And it was such a different experience from recording the video with my face on it. Even though there were moments where I didn't like my voice or I didn't like my accent, I had such a fun time editing. It took me a while to post it because I had to add subtitles and closed captions to it, which is also something that I have to do to this video, and it's pretty long. And hello, future Rosa, how are we doing? I hope you are okay. Don't stress, and drink some water, girl. You need it. But yeah, I found my love for art over again, and even like friends of mine, friends who don't do art and friends who do art professionally, have told me they are shocked about how fast my art improved and how much I'm improving, and they are happy for me that I finally found my voice, that I finally found a way to enjoy art. And it makes me happy that they tell me that. And these are people who are willing to criticize my art, right? Like they will grab one of my drawings and destroy it. They will be like, the hips don't make any sense, the character looks too flat, the hair looks too flat, like this. Yeah, they will criticize everything. But I'm also willing to listen to that criticism because, it's a valid form of criticism and it helps me improve. But yeah, that's why I have really mixed feelings about the pandemic, because I hate what is happening to the world, but also I love what is happening to my art and this new love for the things that I create. Sometimes I think about how my life would have turned out if I didn't listen to the bullying, if I kept drawing, if I kept doing what I am actually passionate about and not trying to disguise myself as someone else. I don't know, maybe I'll be studying animation or any sort of degree related to art. But oh well, you cannot change the past, and as Walt Disney likes to say, keep moving forward. I cannot build a time machine to go back and fix all of the mistakes from my past. but I can start building the future that I want for me. And all of this support for the people around me has helped me so much. And not only that, I have to give myself the idea that it is okay if I don't work on my field of study for my degree, you know? It's fine, it's valid. If I want to be an artist, then I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna keep practicing, I'm gonna keep doing my best so I can be who I want to be. And okay, I don't want to sound too much like, oh, my art is amazing. No, it's more a I am content with where my art is right now. And I'm excited to see how much I can improve in the future. And I'm looking at this drawing, and okay, you guys have no idea how many times I had to stop speed painting. I had to stop recording because I had to look up how to draw something, how to add textures, how to do all of that. Because okay, the one reason why I was terrified to begin doing illustrations and getting on a more, I guess, professional level of art was that I am a perfectionist, and if something doesn't turn out the way I want it, I won't do it. So that was a problem that, believe it or not, the pandemic helped me with. I don't know how, but suddenly I realized that it was okay to not be good at something the first time you try it. It's okay to stop and look at references. It's okay to stop and look at tutorials. Even the professionals do it. And I don't know, I think I have more fun doing my own art professionally than doing it as a hobby. And yeah, it is surprising how strange that is. And there are way more things about it. Like, okay, I think we are all regressing because of the pandemic to stages of our lives where we were more comfortable. I've seen a lot of people regressing to like 2014 Tumblr. And yeah, for me, that part is my Phantom of the Opera phase, as it is shown by this fan art. Phantom of the Opera was, well, it is still one of my comfort books, and I love that story so much, and I love the musical. And for my quinceañera, I got to go all the way to Las Vegas to watch a special production of Phantom, and I got a backstage tour and everything. It was pretty cool, and that was like the peak of my, of my obsession. But I don't know, I was feeling depressed, really depressed, a week or two ago. So I wanted to do something, and I found my old Phantom DVD, and from the recording of the 25th anniversary that I love, and I started watching it, and I start drawing this fan art, and I'm having such a blast doing it, and I'm enjoying watching Phantom so much. And then I noticed something. I never realized how much Phantom was an inspiration for me artistically. I'm not saying that my art is anything like Phantom of the Opera or something like that, but a lot of things that I enjoy in art, which is textures, color palettes, a lot of things are in the beautiful and amazing production design by Maria Bjorsen, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. That woman was a genius, and Phantom is one of her best works. It is so beautiful, and it's so funny because when I watched it when I was 15 years old, I was watching it with the eyes of an obsessed and, I guess, sort of starstruck teenager. And now watching it as an adult with new eyes, I notice more reasons why I love this story and why I love the musical as a whole. And I'm so glad I decided to watch it again because it inspires me. It makes me feel happy, and seeing it again just made me happy. And it was this need of going back to a comfort place that helped me rediscover myself, rediscover my art and the things that I'm passionate about. And not gonna lie, I low-key am interested in becoming a production designer or a visual developer at some point because, that's something that ties in with my degree, but also is art. So I would love to do that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy that I finally found this motivation, this love for the things I do. I'm so glad I rediscovered the things I love. And I am happy with my art. and I am happy that I'm improving. And wow, this video got really emotional. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave you some final thoughts before I, finish the video. If you love something and you dropped it because of your insecurities, because of bullying or whatever, try to pick it up. Try to start again and, not necessarily doing it professionally, but just try to enjoy it again. If it's something you love and it's not harming you or harming those around you, then go ahead, give it a shot. And also, if you see a friend who lost, a passion they had, try to get them back into it. I'm not saying it's your homework, but try to convince them to go back to something that made them happy. And also, maybe revisit something from your childhood or something from your teenage years. I don't know. I think it's a good idea to see it with your new grown up or older eyes, I guess. Anyways, with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun doing this speed paint and I had a lot of fun talking a lot, even though this video is like super long and I'm sorry for that. But yeah, if you want to check more of my art, I'll leave my social media in the description. I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter, I have a TikTok. I rarely use TikTok, but it's there. If you want to support me financially, I have a coffee where you can, buy me a coffee or you can just commission me. I would appreciate that. But also, if you like and subscribe this video, that would also help me a lot, just to show my art to more people. I would really like that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did enjoy getting all these ideas out of my head, so I'm happy now. Anyways, my name is Rosa and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!